What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here, for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this podversation. All right, the internet has definitely been going crazy, and rightfully so, when this Katt Williams interview dropped on the Shannon Sharpe podcast, Club Shay Shay. It definitely was something that for a lot of people had some revelations as well as confirmations of things that people already felt about some of the people that he was discussing. I'm not going to talk about everyone and everything right now that he discussed, but I want to share what Kevin Hart had to say in response. And the reason why I'm talking about him right now is because I feel like he proved Katt Williams' point with his response, because previously we were discussing the fact that this, my opinion, fool is suing Tasha K for extortion, which I truly believe is a front. It is a diversion tactic because of other things that he has going on, because his former assistant came out and essentially put him on blast to say some things that his wife probably already knows about him cheating. This struggle-faced short fool who has been proven to be unfaithful before, nothing has changed about him. He's got this short man complex where he's got this huge ego where he's trying to prove a point. And because he's gotten to the status that he's gotten to, because in my personal opinion, he was put there, not because he worked to get there and deserves it. It's a blow to his ego to have Katt Williams come out here and say things about him that are true that he does not want to admit, or that he doesn't want people to know. If they put the numbers together, if they connect the dots, they will see that, yeah, this dude is an industry plant, okay? So most of you've heard what Kevin Hart, how he was discussed by Katt Williams on the Shannon Sharpe podcast. So he responded to it on his social media, and he says, "Gotta get that anger up out of you, champ. It's honestly sad. In the meantime, please enjoy," and then he put in all caps, "my movie trailer to my next film, Lift, which will be dropping on Netflix in 8 days, exclamation mark." It's just crazy. There is a moment in the trailer where, and then he at somebody named Gugu Mbatha, says, "They really love you." I now know she's talking about Katt.
This job, I don't know if it's possible. If there's a way to do it, we find it. We need to intercept $500 million. But we're not taking the gold.
We're taking the plane? The whole plane?
It's kind of hard to take half a plane.
Nice.
Welcome to the team.
They really love you.
I mean, what's not to love?
You are a thief, a con man, a professional liar.
Agree to disagree. This is it. I show them what true artistry looks like.
Go.
No.
If it was in a movie, people would be like, "God."
Oh my God.
Ready?
Here we go.
3, 2, 1. Lift.
So what I just played was the movie trailer that was on X, and he, in my opinion, I believe Katt is right. He was onto something, because if you watch that movie trailer and then you look at him, he's just right now the pick of the litter, because most people who are honest will admit that in Hollywood, you don't have a lot of black actors and a lot of black actresses that are in big time films at one time. So who is he to be in these films like this? And Katt Williams, he had, a lot of things that he said about Kevin Hart that a lot of people do agree with.
Tori did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Like, it's important in the checks and balances of the universe that liars not get to make complete narratives for themselves.
Are you not?
All right, so what did he say in that could be deemed as a lie? People might call him erratic. Some may call him crazy. Some might even call him high because, he did admit that he smokes marijuana, which is a drug. So if, so if people want to call him a drug addict because he said he smokes marijuana, honestly, it is a drug, but it doesn't make him a liar. And everything that Katt said in this interview, it makes complete sense. You just have to either be someone that doesn't like Katt Williams or you just are so fan heavy and a fanatic or maybe even a stan of the people that he talked about. I'm not going to go into detail about everybody that he talked about, and I'm definitely not going to talk about everyone that he talked about right now, but it makes a lot of sense. And for Kevin Hart, who has been in a number of scandals that somehow they get brushed under the carpet, swept under the rug, time goes by and you're not really hearing a whole lot about it anymore. And then when something comes out, he tries his best to cover it up. It really was not a shock to me that out of all of the people that Katt Williams talked about, the first person that I heard about responding to it was Kevin Hart. But I can understand Katt's feelings because when you are someone who are you're in your industry, whatever industry that is in, and you know how much you worked hard and you hustled and you put into it, and it's not a jealousy thing. And I've said this before, it's a lazy read. It's one of the first things people like to go to when someone who may be speaking about someone that may be in the same industry that is people may see as doing better because they have more status, they have more recognition, they have more money, they're getting more opportunities. The lazy read is to say, oh, you're just saying stuff because you're jealous and you're bitter or you're envious. That's not everyone. Not everyone wants that same life, especially not everyone wants what you got the way you got it. Sometimes it's not so much they may not desire to have some of the things that you have, but they don't desire to get them the way that you got them. And that, for me, speaks to Katt Williams' integrity, because I can speak as an individual who is in a professional industry where you may see people who get put above you because they have more status and recognition, and sometimes it's questionable how they got it. And it's not that you want what they got or you're jealous of them per se, but you know the real of it. And then if you come out and you speak against, not even so much against it, but you speak about it, then people who you may be speaking about, if they respond, they just want to act like, oh, well, you're just jealous. So Kevin making that response to say, watch my new film that's coming out on Netflix in 8 days. He was trying to throw that in Katt's face to say, well, look, call me a plant all you want. Sorry you're so angry, but go check out my new movie. You're basically proving Katt's point that you are a plant, because what have you really done to deserve being in the spot that you're in? I'm not going to play the clip of him being on the Breakfast Club, or maybe I will.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You fucked off promo shoots. You fucked off your promo fucking trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped fucking with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy. Mm-hmm. So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian, and these other women have worked hard, which they have. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Melanie Camacho. Shouts out to Lunel. Mm-hmm. Shouts out to Leslie Jones, who are all underneath the umbrella of Katt Williams. Katt Williams, have you ever used your platform to fucking bring the people that were under you up? Mm. You haven't. So because you haven't, don't shit on those that now are. I've used my platform, and I've brought my guys and girls up. Mm. The brand of Kevin Hart is a brand that's expanded so fucking far, whether you like me or not. My presence in comedy will forever be felt because I'm a fucking boss. I sit on the top of it, and the opportunities that I'm giving are the ones that I'm creating. So take responsibility for what you did. Fuck you. Nobody else did. You don't hear Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle, the Kings of Comedy, Seinfeld. You don't hear George Lopez, Eddie Griffin. You don't hear fucking... who else can I go down the road of other comedians? Steve Martin, Martin Short. You don't hear the guys that got on top and that made it by doing what they love complain about the people that are coming under them. The reason why is because they're happy with themselves. Don't blame everybody else for your shit. Don't shit on my sister Light because you're not happy with your shit. This shit is earned. It's not given. I don't give a fuck if you're a Tiffany Haddish fan or not. It's earned. Tiffany Haddish got years in the game. It's not an accident that Tiffany Haddish got an opportunity to star in a movie. It's not an accident that character popped in the movie. Written or not written, a character has to pop it.
And he even acknowledged.
All right. I said I wasn't going to play it, but I wanted to just let you hear the arrogance of him. And it's sad because he is, and I'm not saying it's sad for Kevin Hart, but it's just a sad situation overall, because when you see the hypocrisy of a lot of people in Hollywood, and to see him sit there and defend and say, don't blame Hollywood and don't blame this person and don't blame the white man and whatever. But with all of the revelations that are coming out now, like in light of the Epstein list and all the things that are coming out about a lot of these celebrities and the dirty deeds that they have done and they are doing behind closed doors and in the dark, it's not far-fetched to believe that Kevin Hart and even Tiffany Haddish are industry plants chosen. And it is offensive to people like a Katt Williams who have worked really hard, and people like Kevin Hart, they're the ones that are, given so much recognition. And I can say I do believe that there are different types of comedians. Not everyone is going to be a great stand-up comedian. Not everyone is going to be, who may be great at stand-up is great at acting. Like, for example, Chris Rock, in my personal opinion, great at stand-up, not the greatest actor, But I'm just basically saying that Katt Williams, I believe he's at this point of just like, I'm tired. And I also just believe that this is also a time of revelation. I talked about that recently where I just said, 2023, I feel like was just the beginning, and it's just going to be so much more to come. I don't believe that people are jumping on a bandwagon of revealing things. I believe that the times that we are living in, and because so much heavy dirty deeds have been done in the dark, they eventually will have to come to the light. Not everything that is done in secrecy can stay there. And sometimes the things may come out after some people have passed away. But I wanted to just talk about that because when I saw this response that he did almost immediately after this interview came out, it wasn't a shock to me. You know, he's got time to sit and sue Tasha K for extortion. And he's got time to sit and throw shade at Katt Williams and respond to him and pretty much prove that he is an industry plant. Everything that he was saying makes absolute sense. And I'll talk about it later when it comes to Steve Harvey and all, you know, the other things that he was discussing, because I really have a lot to say about that too, but I'm not going to make this very long because, as you know, guys, I try not to keep these conversations extremely long. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you guys so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.
Wonder if we maybe were mistaken.